whiskies generally. There's if you like single malts and single grains, they're not talking about the actual malt. They're talking about the distillery. So it's from a single distillery rather than kind of a single type of malt or a single type of grain. You can mix, barley, rye, whatever you like. Mm-hmm. And it can still be a single malt or a single grain. So
as long as it's still from the same distillery.
So the single refers to the distillery, not the actual grain. But it sounds like single malt. It sounds like a
right.
And so when it comes out of the still, it's about 70 alcohol per volume, I think, something around that.
Right.
And they generally water it down a little bit to put it in before they put it in the cask. So there's a slight amount of water added to it, and then it kind of sits in its barrel or barrels, depending on what process you want to kind of put it through. And a cask strength one is the strength that it comes out of the barrel, and that's usually, I think that's between 50 and 65, something like that. That's kind of usually what it is when it comes straight out of the barrel. And the advantage of it is it's not watered down. So all whiskies are watered down to get down to, we're back to your beers.
Small beers,
to get to your 40% proofs and things like that. But the trouble with adding water to whiskey that's come out of a cask is it goes cloudy. So they cold filter it, which takes out lots of the oils. And that changes the flavour and the kind of the nature of the whiskey. Maybe that's not quite the right way of putting it, but it makes it more consistent. So they can blend it, and it doesn't sort of mess around with them too quite so much.
Right.
So if you get it straight out of the cask, it's unlikely to have been cold filtered because the cold filtration process is a bit pricey and a bit long.
So it makes perfect sense. It's stronger. They're saving some cash, and they've not got to fanny about with it. Why are they not all like that?
Yeah. I mean, the advantage as a drinker, the advantage with it is that if you say like a kind of a Lagavulin or something, which I really I love Lagavulin. It's a really nice drink. But if you add water to it, you get the same flavour. It's just a bit water. It's slightly waterier, drink.
Yeah.
Whereas with a cask strength whiskey, you add water to it, like a tiny bit of water. So if you sort of smell it and taste it as full cask strength, it has totally different kind of nose, like aromas and flavours. And then if you put a tiny bit of water in it, that totally changes. So you get these two different, so it sort of reacts with the oils and it kind of brings things to life, or it just changes the nature of it a little bit. So and it kind of takes that burn off if you put a tiny bit of water in your whiskey. So it's just it makes it a kind of just a personal preference whether you kind of have a cask strength whiskey and you want to put water in it or not. And I would say that goes with the bottle, just depends what whether you like it, that particular bottle with water in it or not. How you're feeling that day. So
Nice.
Yeah,
so you've got one of those right there.
Enough.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's my last one, and it's the last one because it's sort of I like it a lot, but it's sort of my least favourite of all my cask, and I've had it for ages, and it's sort of it's lasted. I do really love it, but I was telling Adam this the other day. I was messing around in my mum's home the other day and sort of clearing out some of my old stuff, and I found 2 bottles of a whiskey which I love, a Clonelsh, which is it's a Highland. It's kind of a coastal Highland thing, and they use it for Johnny Walker. It's one of the mixing things they use for, and it's really like their single malts are really nice anyway. Sort of they've got a sort of a range. But I bought when I was at college, music college. I bought sort of a couple of obscenely expensive whiskies that I really couldn't afford. And I thought they'd gone, and I found. I mean, they've got the tiniest little bits, and I was going to bring them up, but yeah, I forgot. So they're kind of waiting for me. So I've got two sort of Kleinelsch. One's it was a range called the Flora and Fauna. So it was a 14-year-old. But it was put in its cask in like 1990, so it's kind of...
It's older than me.
Older than you, yeah, older than you. But yeah, it was beautiful. It was like sort of 2004, I think it was kind of bottled.
Nice.
But yeah, that range which they had, I don't think they still do them, but that was a beautiful range of whiskies.
Great.
I think it's sort of like around the 3,500. 3,500. That's
3,500.
That's sort of masking the fact that it costs 350 quid.
That's definitely not a music college purchase.
Yeah, and that was kind of in 2004. So
sounds like the sort of thing you did, Greg. No, to be fair, we were on the White and Mackay, weren't we, when we were in uni?
I was absolutely. Mate.
3 to 4 pounds.
Yeah.
What have you got tonight, Greg? What are you drinking, mate?
Okay, so I'm exercising a demon today. I'm going for a whiskey, going for a scotch because I wanted to keep in the theme. This was one of the scotches that I had before I started getting into whiskey. So it's a classic, like you're in a bar or in a pub and you look behind the counter and you want to look cool. You don't know anything about whiskey. You don't really like whiskey, but it's just you want to be seen drinking a whiskey. And this is when I was like 18 or something. I did this, and obviously the first thing you see is the big green bottle with a stag on it, Glenfiddich.
Oh yeah.
I think it's got to be one of the most sold single malts in the UK, at least. It's up there. It's anyway. I had it. I really didn't like it, and it actually almost put me off whiskey, I think. So luckily it didn't. But anyway, that's enough of it. I've bought a small bottle for me today, and I've been smelling it and tasting it as John T was talking there. And you know what? It's really nice. Very simple. A little bit malty, very sweet on the taste. It does burn quite a bit. I haven't left it out to sit for a while, so I'm sure it will chill out for a second. But it's a bit spicy in sort of burny way. But it's just a very simple, straight down the line, a little bit malty, very sweet single malt, and nothing to be ashamed of whatsoever. I think there are cheaper ones that you can get. So I don't know how much is a Glenfiddich 12 now, like 30 quid, 35 quid.
Yeah. I think they're occasionally on offer, aren't they? Yeah. I wouldn't pay much more than 30 quid.
Yeah, no, if it was on offer, definitely go for it. But there's definitely stuff you can get sub 30 quid that I would prefer, like a Glenmorangie or something like that. But yeah, no, it's decent. So I just thought I'd give that. I've actually got a couple of other smaller bottles of their other range. So that's going to be a series over the next few weeks. I'm going to go through all of them and
Nice.
see what I think.
Nice.
Yeah,
so is this the first time you've had it since the glory days then? Since 18, 19?
Since I was 18, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's awesome.
And,
you know what?
yeah.
I'm trying to think back the last time I had a Glenfiddich. Same with a Glenmorangie. They were the two that I sort of cut my teeth on back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe I need to get a couple of like little bottles of those. That'd be awesome.
Do it, mate. Do it.
Great. This evening, guys, I'm on another birthday present because I got a good birthday in terms of scotch this year. I'm drinking a Chivas Regal 15. So this is a blended scotch. It's one of their director's cut, as I like to call him, one of their sort of special edition ones. Beautiful bottle. I'm a sucker for some good sort of gold branding. It always gets me right in the wallet. So that's one of those. Mind you, like I said, this was a birthday gift, so it must have got the missus in the wallet. But this is fantastic. It's a nice rich colour. It is quite sweet. There's no sort of noticeable smoke. It's sweet, it's smooth, it's quite sort of oaky, I'd say. I don't know what sort of barrels it's been in or anything like that. There's nothing on the bottle because they've gone for the snazzy, simplistic approach. But yeah, it tastes great. There's no smoke. It's got a little bit of that Christmas cake, but not anywhere near like the Penderyn we had last week or anything like that. But it's just a good all rounder. Lots of nice subtle flavours. I think maybe my beer before has kind of like altered the flavour a little bit. I might report back later, actually.
Absolutely.
And I've also, now because I've sort of forsaken the tulip-shaped whiskey tasting glasses. Obviously, listeners can't see, but we usually have these like classic tulip-shaped glasses where it's sort of John T and Greg both have theirs with them this evening, and it kind of like funnels the fragrance like towards your nose, right? It means that you've got a stronger taste. John T's sculling it like there's no tomorrow. But I've got this sort of snazzy Mad Men style crystal rocks glass, which looks super cool, but it's not got that sort of potent nose that the tasting glasses have. So maybe To
be fair, I've got both.
Oh, yeah. Nice! All bases covered in East Sussex. we are a very snazzy pub, to be fair. Like we've got like proper beer jugs, proper glasses, the works. Nice. Okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Okay, so the question is this evening, gentlemen, as briefly as we can, because there's lots of different regions of Scotland. I'd like you to name your favourite whiskey from each of the regions of Scotland. Okay, so for anyone that's sort of not familiar, the main ones are Highland, Lowland, Islay, Speyside, and then there's another little one called Campbelltown, yeah, which is a tiny one which used to make loads and loads of whiskey, but I don't know what's like the history behind it, but it basically doesn't make anywhere near as much anymore, and you have to pay a lot of money to get the stuff that they do make. So I don't know. If you've got a favourite Campbelltown, chuck it in. But if not, just stick to Highland, Lowland, Islay, Speyside. Greg, kick us off.
Okay. How do you want me to do this? Just one? We go around one each, or do you want me to do all of mine in one go?
I want to hear all of them.
I'm going to give you all of them, Adam. Don't you worry about that. All right. That's f***ing weird. Why did I say it like that? All right, here we go. We're going from the top to the bottom, baby. We're going Highlands.
Cool.
I'm going for this one. There was two I almost put down. I'm picking this one because I think my other one's going to be picked by one of you, but maybe not. But I'm going to say Old Pulteney. I don't know if either of you guys have had a single malt from Old Pulteney.
Of course,
that's entered legend.
Yeah. So this single malt was again one of the few in the early days where you started tasting different things. So with this one, I got this I felt like I was on a rock somewhere and there was wind and the sea was spraying into my face. I was getting this salty flavour and it just felt really light and fresh and crisp and had this sea salt, sea air vibe to it, which I absolutely loved. And yeah, so one of the reasons I really like whiskey is because I had this kind of whiskey here, which I could pick out different flavours in. Huge. Old Pulteney's so good. And you can get it at the supermarket for not crazy money.
Fantastic. Love an Old Pulteney.
Yeah.
Old Pulteney's good. It's a good one. All right, let's go. Next one. Speyside. I'm going Glenmoray.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Now,
good choice.
I'm going Glenmoray. I've been to the distillery in Elgin, which is just a beautiful distillery. Nice little town. But I'm going, not because it's the tastiest thing on the planet. It's not the most rich and luxurious whiskey, but it is very cheap and it tastes very good for that price. I think it's the best amount of, if you haven't got much money, you've only got 25 quid, it has to be on deal for that, to be honest, but I don't know, about 20 quid you can get it for, actually. If you've got about 20 quid in your pocket and you want a nice whiskey, go for the Glenmoray Elgin Classic. Doesn't have an age statement, so it's probably quite young, but it tastes so good. They also do a peated version. They're doing loads of weird ones like Chardonnay casks and stuff. It's a really, really cool distillery.
Wow.
To try out, and it's like I say, value for money is just out of this world.
We love a bit of value on the Blokes podcast.
Oh yes, there's a lot of newbies out there. A lot of newbies out there,
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Lowlands. This was a tricky one because I haven't had a huge amount of Lowland whiskey, to be honest. They're sort of not particularly fashionable, are they?
They're not. Poor buggers.
Yeah.
So ladies' whiskies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's fine.
We're not going to get any free ones now, Johns. Christ.
Oh, thanks a
No,
lot.
and they're known as that. That's not a. Yeah.
So this one I had relatively recently.